Hello, in this video we will go over lesson 4, which involves assemblies. Essentially what we are doing is we are moving parts from our part studio into the assembly tab, and we are putting together all of the different parts of our drawing into an actual assembly where the parts interact with each other. So they don't just look like they go together in a machine, but they actually interact in a very specific way. In our drawings, we would have our arms spin around if we had it connected to another part of another arm. Um, and in this situation, we will make them attach to other parts in a way that we limit their interaction uh, depending on what constraints we add to them. And we are going to refer back to our cantilever arm, and we're going to define our degrees of freedom depending on the command that we are going to use. And again, I am following these notes, which are on Shobi, and the notes are written for laptops and desktops. I am going to follow them using my iPad, so the actions that I'm going to take are going to differ slightly um, from what you see here. Now, if you're using your desktop or your laptop, you can just follow the instructions word for word, and you should be able to progress at your own pace. If you are using an iPad, it's still pretty easy to translate the directions from one to the other. You just have to do a little finagling, some trial and error. Sometimes just click on things a couple of times until you get exactly what you want. But as we go through this, I will explain the difference from one to the other. Um, uh, this video is going to cover steps 1 through 4, and they will be done real quick. We are just inserting the large arm and the short arm, and then we are seeing how they interact with each other. So first things first, I am going to open Onshape, and I'm going to access my cantilever drawing. In this case, I went to the Created by Me tabs, and I access ILS cantilever. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fresh, create assembly. So I'm going to start fresh. Okay, so when you are working on an assembly tab that's within the same file of the drawing you're accessing, you don't really have to do anything special. Let's delete this. You just follow the instructions that you're given. So for step 1, we are going to insert the large arm. All I'm going to do now is you have to make sure you are on the assemblies tab and not on the parts in the part studio. So if I'm in the part studio, if I'm in my clamp file, this is what my part studio looks like. It's the first tab. This is where you do your sketches and your other commands. And as you can see, your parts are listed in the lower left, but I want to be in the assembly tab. And once you are in the assembly tab, you're going to click insert, which is right, if you're on the iPad, it's right underneath the clock, right next to ILS cantilever. It's this little symbol that just went dark. I'm going to click that. And because you're importing something from the document you're working on, it should be the right at the top, current document. Okay, so we're going to click on large arm. Now, if we look at the instructions, it says click on large arm. Then immediately select the green check mark. Right? This is one of the small differences that we have between iPads and desktops and laptops, is that our check mark doesn't have a green square on it. They show you how it looks if you're working on a desktop or laptop, this is what it looks like, and that's where you would click right here. But I'm working off an iPad, so I'm just gonna click check, boom. And when you do that, it immediately sets at the origin, because that's where I drew I put this right at the origin. And if you didn't draw it at the origin, that's fine. All your parts, as you import them and place them where they need to be, are going to be based off where the arm is located. It just makes it easier to find if everything's set at the origin. That's all. Okay, so we are going to insert the large arm, and it's already in place. Now, one of the things that you're going to note is that if you highlight it, you see this set of arrows that comes up. If you click on the arrowhead pointing upwards, it allows you to move this up and down. If you click on the arrow that's kind of along the bottom, it allows you to slide it back and forth like that. And if you click on the other arrow, it slides it. Let me see if I can get it back and forth from the front of the screen to farther away on the screen. And if you just click anywhere on that white space, it just moves the arm around like that. But we don't want it to do that. We want it to stay fixed. Every time I want it to reset, I just press back. What I want to do is I want it to stay fixed at the origin, or where I just placed it right in the beginning. So if you are on a desktop or you're working on a laptop, all you got to do is go to the menu on the left where it says large arm, right click, and then select fix. We don't have that option to right click on an iPad, but we have, if you see right next to the eye, there's 3 little dots. We're going to click on that, and we're going to select fix. Now what that does is make sure that our arm is not going to move. Okay? Now that set of arrows that I was showing you, that's what we call the triad manipulator, and that's how you move stuff around on your drawing. So what you need to do now is import the short arm and set it in place. Just import the short arm, and you can move it around the screen anywhere you want to, as long as it's viewable within your screen. In the next video, we're going to set up how to make the parts in the right place so that they interact with each other the right way.